Good evening, Des Moines. Welcome to the Doc and Lefty program, coming to you from the North Side Studios of webcast1live.com. This is Lefty. As always, we are bringing you the perspectives you love from the sides you hate, and across the table with me, fluffing his hair like it ain't no thing, is my partner in crime, Dr. Patrick Bertroche. Doc, what's happening?
Well, I figure since we're going to talk about Trump, better have a Trump hairstyle.
Oh boy!
What do you think?
We're going to talk about
What
Trump.
do you think?
I think you need to. I think you need to do something.
I think it looked like mankind.
You need to fix
just like this. It looked like mankind.
something like that. You need to fix yourself up.
All right, fix yourself up.
But no, what's going on?
Make myself pretty.
Okay, sounds good.
Oh.
We have got a pretty full program here this evening. I think that we've got something, a little bit of something for everybody, from the hilarious, which would be the USA rugby game that Todd's going to talk about here in a second. We've also got some of the politically hilarious, or the constitutionally hilarious in this business in Kentucky. We'll talk a little bit about that and get our takes on it. And then the more tragic, I think, as we're wont to do, end the show on a really tragic note in this refugee crisis in Syria, the burden in Europe, and what the U.S. is and is not doing to help. I've got some thoughts on that. I think, Doc, you and I might be on the same page on that one, but it'll be interesting to see. Yes. And I think that was on the rundown, but if you've got something else you want to put on there.
No, I'm going to tell everybody exactly how much fun I had this weekend.
Oh, yes.
Yes. You know, usually month to month, some months we make money, some months we don't, and that's the usual month.
Right.
And so every once in a while I think, man, you know, why do I still do this? I don't. I know why I do it, because one, I love talking politics, and two, it's tough to find a lefty who's halfway reasonable you can discuss it with. So
don't sell me short, man. I'm only 0.25% reasonable.
All right. So 0.25% reasonable, which is better than most. Anyway, I got invited on a media pass, of all things, to go see the game this weekend between Australia, the number 2 rugby team in the world, and the United States, which is ranked number 16. And honest to goodness, we're behind countries like Georgia. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's how awful we are.
Not a great rugby tradition in the old US of A.
No, not much at all. So I thought, well, great. I still get to go. I get to spend a weekend, and I'll get to talk to everybody. What a game the Eagles put on, the USA Eagles. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness, they. If I hadn't seen it firsthand myself, I wouldn't have believed it. The Australia team looked stunned and disorganized at halftime. They were only up 14-10, and the only way they were able to score is when we went down a man on a what I think is a BS penalty, but referees. Mm-hmm. And apparently the guy is French, so that's why a lot of times Americans hate the French anyway. Plus the saying in rugby referee circles is, if there's a chance to penalize the French, that's what you do. So I think they were just trying to get a little of their own back. Anyway, what a terrific game. And we had a chance to beat them, except the old fumblerooskies. We had 4 of those. I mean, boom, 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 that they turned into at least 3 different touchdowns, is what they call it. Anyway, I'm talking to all the people over there. Everybody's super friendly. This is part of American exceptionalism. At least with rugby, nobody left the field, even though we're getting blown out. Nobody left the field. Number 2, all the people stayed to take pictures of both teams. They were super friendly. The Australians were kind of like nervous. They weren't getting near the walls. People kept calling them over. They wouldn't go over. They started going up the tunnel. And then when they discovered some of the braver Australian players were, getting their pictures taken and everything else, truly a wonderful and friendly crowd. So wonderful that the opposing coach called us awesome. But you guys have an awesome crowd. We couldn't believe this. It was the second largest rugby game ever in the United States, and it was all kinds of awesome. And if they wouldn't have held it on Labor Day weekend, I'm sure it would have been, 4 times as big as it was. So there's a question I asked.
Okay.
And I wrote down the number of respondents, and I tried to make it both equal from Australia and from the American.
So this is highly scientific.
Well, yes. Out of 102 responses, we had 98 real responses. And I'm going to tell you the question right now. The question was, is Donald Trump's hair real or fake? And I had 4 responses along the lines of, I think it's a dead squirrel, right? Or, one guy said, I think it's a chia pet. But out of the other 96 responses, 90 of those responses said that the hair was real, just a terrible comb over. The comb over from the back of the head forward as opposed to traditional from the side over the top. And the other 6 said, no, I think it's fake. Now, virtually every Australian, I don't remember an Australian yet that said, oh, yeah, it's fake. But it was only Americans that thought that Donald Trump's hair was fake. And I think that's important because Americans are pretty good at telling a phony. And so far, Donald Trump has not turned out to be a phony. His hair's real. His speeches are real. I think he does flip-flop on issues, but, hey, who doesn't? Gore loves to do it. Hillary Clinton likes to do it. President Obama doesn't really do it. You got to respect the guy for that. So anyway, that was my weekend, and it was wonderful. I got to talk with Michael Chicka, the coach from Australia. I got to sit down, talk actual rugby with him. Got to talk with rugby, some of the greats of the rugby world, including Tim Horn, a rugby great from Australia, Nathan Gray, who was an assistant coach and an Australian player, with an interesting thing. I was talking to Michael Chicka, the coach of Australia. And I said, what impact do you think the United States rugby team is going to have if it goes pro? Because you're going to have a lot of these corporations infiltrating with their money and everything else. And he said, it's going to be awesome. Going to really help build American rugby. And I said, so you don't have a problem with corporations kind of coming into rugby? And he says, no. He goes, corporations are great. It's what allows us to travel the world and play the game we love. And I said, so you're not afraid of a corporate takeover? And he says, no. He goes, it's worked well in the rest of the world. And he goes and holds up his phone and says, I'm glad I got the corporation build my phone. So even in the land of socialism down under, there are positive aspects to having corporation around. That was my political bent on this. Plus, I wrote an article about it. It goes into pretty great detail about this game and how exceptional our fans were and how magnificent it was to be on the pitch for this game.
Well, I'm glad that you had a good time.
Well, thanks.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to bet nobody else in this room had that kind of weekend.
Nope. I certainly didn't go and watch a rugby match.
What did you do?
Well, I had a gig on Saturday night. That was pretty fun. I had a pretty good sports weekend, all things considered. My beloved Iowa Hawkeyes won their opener, 31-17 or 31-14.
Good.
And my beloved Chicago Cubs beat the St. Louis Cardinals 9-0 yesterday. That was fantastic.
In September?
Yes, they did.
Didn't joke.
Oh man, this is honestly, baseball this year this is the most fun Cubs team that I can remember in the last 15, 20 years. 2003 was a lot of fun until the Bartman game. Yep. 1998 with the home run chase, that was fun too. Sammy Sosa was great. He was one of my favorites back in the day. But honestly, even the 07-08 teams that went back to the playoffs for the first time in like 100 years, this team with its young guys, its studs, its solid pitching has just really, really been of joy to watch. And I'm going to be very, very excited. I've got my Game 5 tickets for the World Series already bought.
No kidding.
And I haven't done that. But it would be.
I was going to say that'd be silly because you know what Cubs stands for, don't you?
I really don't. I don't remember.
Can't understand baseball in September.
And I don't think that's right. I think that's named after a bear. And so I think that any suggestion to the contrary is unpatriotic.
On a sad note.
Yeah.
On a sad note, Tyler Sash.
Yeah. I saw that
he
today.
Passed on. Nobody knows why. They just found
down
out.
in Oskaloosa, 27 years old.
Terrible. Tragic.
One of my favorite Hawkeye players of all time.
Good man.
I was in the end zone back, I believe, in 2006, 2005, when he ran back that 86-yard interception against Purdue. I was in the end zone when that happened. It was unbelievable. That guy was a great football player, Super Bowl champion, and really, really sorry to hear about that today, and condolences to his family.
Absolutely. We'll be back right after this break. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We want to thank all of our sponsors, Bertrosian Associates at BertrosianAssociates.com, Lubinas Law Firm at Lubinas.com, Halo Capital, Des Moines Interest.com, Des Moines Anesthesia PC at 515-574-6442, They do pain management and anesthesia. They have offices here in Des Moines and Fort Dodge. I have written a blog. Go check it out. It should be up at Doc and Lefty any minute now. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We'll be back right after this break.